Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop. Just let me know. Don't stop. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CFR Widecrest Monday Night NasTrucks here from Talladega. This is bound to be a classic. Joining me tonight for the first time here at CFR, Tyler Sheaf, who's actually, we've got you on the focus mate in pit lane, but welcome on in, buddy. It's good to have you here.
Thanks very much for allowing me to be in the com box. I've still yet to come in here on merit. I'm finishing on the podium, but it's good to watch the NasTrucks out there though.
Yeah, mate, this is going to be a lot of fun. There's not going to be a whole lot of difference between the fixed and the open setup boys tonight, with the draft out there being a super speedway, nice and long. We already see some times that replicate that exact thing. So we're looking there at, is that Evan with a 51.66. So, I mean, the draft plays a big effect around here.
Well, being a big, massive, long track, good banking, you don't have to lift off on the accelerator, so it's pedal to the metal, and if you lose the draft, well, you're just going to be duck all there by yourself. So I think these boys need to keep it nice and clean to stay in the race.
Yeah, the one thing that we do see at super speedways, and you just mentioned it, once you get out of that draft line, it's like hitting a brick wall. The air is just so different. But yeah, we're looking back now. We've got a few of the mixed boys and open boys on screen there. We're actually following with Kyle Ridley, the 27 juiced energy car, but we got Andrew Proctor there. He's leading another pack further back around the track there in the SLM car, so it's awesome to see. But yeah, this is going to be interesting tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the fix actually finished in the top 3 tonight. It's all open.
Well,
which is
I got word from the great wizardry man himself, Peter Baxter, today, and he said we've done the open quali for 5 minutes, So we're apparently going open quali for 5 minute, a 5 minute open quali around the super speedway. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh, that plays a lot of tactics now too, because considering that if you got a couple of teammates out there, you want to be drafting off each other and give each other 1 or 2 good laps in the draft to get a quick lap. There's got to be a lot of games out there, actually. Now thinking about it, 5 minutes, that's not really a lot of time to get a quick lap in.
That's exactly right. I'm just chatting to our hands-in race guy. Just asking for a few questions. So while we're doing some front-running stuff here in the front ground, I can't do things in the background. So I'm a little curious. I've got... Oh, come on. All right, so we just get that done and out of the way. We'll look back to Mark Grocott on track here, leading one of his teammates, both in the fix. So you guys can tell the fix by the blue banner on the windscreen and the rear spoiler if you're unsure. That's one way to check it. Also, if you see the red there, which you can just see on the top of, it looks like Chris Bleakley. Yeah, we do. It hasn't got the red spoiler on it, but that's the open setup, guys. So those difference in the setups means the open guys can do whatever they like to their truck. They can, you know, add things or take things away. The guys in a fixed setup have got to stay within a certain tolerance of the setup provided for the race. So a little bit of an interesting concept. Seems to be working really well, because if we look to the front, Kyle Ridley in P2 is actually a fixed setup guy, and I think Evan is also fixed. So we're seeing the first 3 guys on the... No, sorry, first 2. Sorry, are fixed, and Andrew Proctor's an open guy, mate. So this is going to really mix it up across the field tonight.
Yeah, well, just a reminder as well, when you're thinking about that, the fixed setup will benefit on the big long tracks like Talladega compared to last week on the tiny short paper flip track. It's not much that the open boys can do to adjust their cars to get away with them. There's normally all in your turning and your corner speed that you can make or break a race. If it's a draft, I think you can leave 1.5 to 2 seconds behind a draft and maintain in that draft and just catch up without any help. So it'll be interesting to see how these boys go.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I totally agree. This is going to be interesting, because you've got to have a friend out there tonight, don't you? You can't just do this solo. It's not like you say at Martinsville last week. It was very short. It's a paper clip. It's you know, there's no benefit to the draft there as much as what we see tonight. But if you don't get that friend and you don't have someone who can work side by side with you, you're definitely going to feel the heat a little bit come a bit later on in the night.
It's not just that as well. You can have so much more strategy. You know, you can still say by being in the draft. You know, that could be part of the pit strategy. You can undercut or you can overcut. Tires as well. No, you don't want to be pushing your tires too hard as well. So being behind in the draft and just relaxing to the last couple of laps, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be out in front in this race. I know that for sure. You just be by yourself, and you got a pack of piranhas coming behind you, and you'll get gobbled up pretty quick.
Yeah. So the key factor, like you just mentioned, you don't want to be at the front. So you want to try and be. You want to be at the front when you cross the finish line, but you don't want to be at the front any other time of the night. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's going to be a fun game of chicken, let's just say that.
Well, again, like we see on screen now, we see a couple of boys working together, you know, using the bump draft, you know, riding behind each other and trying to get forward. We'll see that throughout the evening tonight. But again, that's only going to work so far, because you'll have guys that'll literally run at the back of the pack, and they'll just all of a sudden they'll just pop up right at the front at the last minute, and within 2 or 3 laps to go, they'll just drive off the front and be like, well, that caught me napping, I wasn't expecting that. So Yeah, we'll just see what they get up to. But we're into the last minute and a half of practice, and then we'll go to a 5-minute open quali tonight. So, as I said, the wizardry of Peter Baxter has made it an open quali, so this will be even better for quali, Tyler, tonight.
Yeah, like anyone's up for grabs really. Like you look at it, it's 1.5 seconds between most of the boys out there, so we haven't kept track with all their laps, so it's hard to say how much of a draft they got compared to others.
Well,
I'm looking at it. It's going to be a very interesting quali.
0.9 separates our top 10. 0.9.
That's just phenomenal.
That's crazy, isn't it? Let me just check
that's the one thing I love
speedway.
about it. Like when you can see 20 cars out there on track and they're 1.5 seconds top, it's pretty cool. Oh, another thing as well, if you I copped it on the first lap out actually, the pit exit, it's a long way away where that blue cone is. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, right. So that's not something I've considered actually, where the pit exit meets the track. So that's rather interesting. Yeah, we'll have to. I'm just trying to get the desk up there for you, mate. There you go. Yeah, you've got that. You can see what we're doing on screen.
Easy.
Getting everything all sorted. Everything's a bit clunky, but we got it. We got there. But yeah, so we're riding with Reno Wilkinson at the moment, and we just see. Just working there in tandem with the number 13, trying to get some movement forward. But that's it. That's practice done, dusted, and finished. So let's see if we can get a pit exit cam that you're just talking about. We need to get somebody to actually jump out on the track. Come on, boys. Coming out on circuit. We need someone. Here we go. We got Kyle. Looks like Kyle's going to make his way out. But so there's the Kyle there. But as you're talking, so there's the green, which is that Kyle's playing little games. I see what he's doing. He's trying to wait for someone else to come out. There you go. So you were saying about this before, about the blue, which is way around the middle of those corners, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long distance. Like,
So,
yeah, you
just-
can have half decent speed, but you got to stay off the track. You got to make sure that you don't miss the blue cone line.
There we go. So we're just watching Andrew Proctor. There's the blue caution. There's the blue cone there. So it's a long way around, isn't it? There it is there. We can see it on screen. So it's a long way around the track. So, all right. Well, let's get into some quali and let's get the timing tower to show. We got just under 5 minutes now as we ride on board with Andrew Proctor. Now, these boys will probably want to settle themselves out. They probably won't want to get too close to another driver because they'll think, they'll get caught out or the chance of actually ruining a quali session could be there. But we're talking a 50-second lap. It's not going to be hard to sort of ruin a lap and then come back in and reset, is it?
Yeah, well, when you think about it, it's a 50-second lap. You're looking at maybe putting in 4 laps, and that's it. So you got to be really careful not to make a mistake. I know that a lot of people put in their banker lap first, and then their second, third lap is where you have to be at the top speed. But whoever that is that just got out the pit exit there, that's perfect timing from them. Just called the draft.
Yeah, I was going to say that was on cue. That looks like... I'm not actually sure. That's actually... Is that Brian? No, it's not Brian. Pete Jones in the YouTube chat. Go crazy, them Kiwis. Hey, they're out there, mate. They're out there having a crack at it. We see now we're looking at Andrew Proctor and Ryan Huckle here. They are working absolutely in unison for this quali session. So Proctor's got a lap in. It's not a great one at 1:02, but this will definitely improve now. So welcome, Pete. Good to have you in the chat, buddy. We are... Shane, are you out there tonight? You're not out there tonight, are you? No, you are spotting, I believe. Tell Brad Lane to watch out for the... Is he even on? Oh, yeah, he's just gone to P2.
He's on, he's at P2.
He's right behind Kyle Ridley. Oh, Julian Mookie just jumps to the top now as well. You see, they're working in tandem. Their boys are working in tandem. This is how you do it. There's Darren Fahey right there with him too. So Darren from Kittens Racing is actually good to see Darren out here having a... Bell, why are we still on... Okay, it's swooping up Darren on the SCK. Thank you, SCK, for that. I appreciate it. Okay.
You know, I feel sorry for a few of the boys out there that are stuck in front of the pack with a pair, and the person behind them is not a teammate, so they'll sit behind them the whole time. Like right there, SLM boy, Andrew Proctor, just using all the draft, and the poor man in front of him, Ryan Huckle, he'll be spewing not the other way around.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Alright, it looks like... Oh, SCK is just going to shut down and do its thing. Alright, SCK, thank you very much. Adrian Loretti, welcome to the YouTube chat, my friend. It's good to see you. Okay, so yeah, now it looks like we've picked up... Is it going to change? Oh, finally. We start to see a big pack of these boys now. We've got a couple of fixed in there. We've got a couple opened.
Yeah, what I love about that, if you're at the back of that, you are laughing. You've got so much room to gain.
Oh, Ridley to the top. Sorry to cut you off, Tyler, but yeah, that's a quick lap. So Kyle Ridley there working with the 119 of Brad Lane, who we just heard Pete Jones say, tell him to watch out for the walls. So I think he needs to watch out for Kyle Ridley.
I think that's it. That's a 5-minute done already. This is the final lap for all these boys that's out there on the track.
It is. It's done, and it looks like the Frog Leap Juice man of Kyle Ridley will be taking pole, followed by Julian Mookie here in the fluoro yellow car. So again, that's a mix of fixed and open on the front row. So this Pete Baxter's really mixed this one up this season. So this is great.
Oh, the top 5 boys are 500th of a second between each other.
There is nothing in it.
Phenomenal.
There is nothing in it. So we've got a 53.22 for Kyle, and we've got to go back to P11 before we lose that full second back. So this is going to be interesting tonight. So strap in, folks. This is going to be 50 laps of Talladega in extreme drafting mode, and these boys are going to have an absolute blast. So Kyle Ridley and Julian Mookie going to lead off the front row, with Brad Lane and Darren Fahey off the second row. We'll just get that grid up. So there we have it. So Kyle Ridley, Julian Mookie off the front row, Brad Lane, Darren Fahey off row 2, Chris Bleakley and Evan off row 3, Glenn Wilkinson and Mark Grocott off 4, Glenn McLeod, Andrew Proctor off row 5, Ryan Huckle, Brian Blundell off row 6. Off row 7 is Reno Wilkinson and Darren Robb. Off row 7, Tim Blundell and Jason Holdsworth. I don't think Scott Rankin did a lap, and everyone behind that is done as well. So, Tyler, we just said you don't want to be on the front. How is Kyle Ridley going to handle this, mate?
Well, to be honest, if I was him, I'd play it smart. I'll stay out in front in the first lap, and just whoever comes by, if they want to overtake him, you just sit there and go, yep, I'll let you go by. I don't think it'd be silly to stay in the front the whole time. But in saying that as well, you do want to be careful as well, because the bigger the pack, the more dangerous it is that someone can make a driver error and clean up the whole field. So it would be interesting to see where he wants to go, if he wants to just drop back one row and sit behind the front row. Does he want to go high? Does he want to go low?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's It's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Because you don't want to be sort of too far away, but you want to be there or thereabouts, don't you? So he wants to be kind of leading, but not leading at such an early stage.
Well, when you look at it, like normally the third car behind the leader, if you're in the pack, they got the best benefit. They got the biggest drag. That last corner, I'm looking forward to that last corner.
Oh, mate, I think the last lap is going to be the telling part, but we'll see how many we've got. So we have currently 18 on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. So 18 trucks out there tonight. Oh, Darren Fahey hasn't bobbled in. Oh, no. Now he has. Well, let's try and get a bit of a broader view. There we go. We see the front row, and we see a few of the boys there lining up. So the 119 is actually down low, so Chris Bleakley needs to be up the top. Unless they switch it up, which I'm pretty sure they're allowed to do. I haven't quite run over the rulebook properly on this one, but I think they can shift up or change lanes if they wanted to at the start. Or maybe it's only restarts they can change lanes, so we'll have to see. But either way, this is going to be something very, very fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the boys do, especially behind as well. I mean, I understand if you're at the back, you want to make a couple of positions to stay with the pack, but you just got to be really, really careful with the boys in front of you. Just not to make any contact. You'd rather be in it on the last lap than been on the first lap. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you want to buy your ticket, as we say in the racing world. You want to buy your ticket to that last window, don't you? It's we hear it a lot in endurance racing and stuff. And look, I mean, 50 laps at Talladega. I mean, it's bordering on that endurance stuff as well. So you want to get that window to the last pit stop and have it there. Yeah.
Hit the pace car. Oh, Pete, he's going mental with that, man.
Pete Jones in YouTube. Hit the pace car. Sadly, you can't. I mean, we have all tried it at some point. We have tried to drive through the pace car and hit it and whatever else, and you literally just phase through it. So, all right, pace car is off. Means we are set for green flag, where Kyle Ridley will be leading us off into the yonder. So waiting on the green flag. We'll see Barney here. Look at that vision. Barney getting ready. He's got that flag at the ready. It is green flag. They are away. Kyle's gotten a good jump, and he's brought Brad Lane with him, actually. That's a really good jump, but looks like Julian Wookie's going to get Darren Fahey to work with him. Yeah, so we're going to go too wide all the way around.
So very good, clean start from everyone there as well.
Oh, absolutely clean start. And the joys of Talladega, you can run on that high line as well, so it's not really a bad thing. So we see
everything, momentum.
Yeah, well, that's right. You maintain a little bit higher there, but we're seeing the 1.9 MX Raps boys right there in the middle. They'll be trying to work together to get forward. Kyle's got himself a little friend in Brad Lane there, so just starting to put a little gap over the next little gaggle there. So we'll have to see if they can maintain that and work together. So Julian now just sliding a little bit further back. That high line not quite as quick tonight, but it doesn't take much to get back in the grooves. So we'll see.
The more racing there goes, the more rubber on the track as well. It's pretty green by the looks of it. But the outside, they look like they're still holding on, which is good to see. And I'm surprised that Kyle's still out in the lead. I thought he would have tried and fell behind someone and just fuel save and get a bit of strategy into the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you, mate. So we'll flick to Andrew Proctor there, the SLM car on the top side with the red rims on. He's sitting back there, currently P10, and just sitting in the groove. But we're starting to see a few just fall off the back a little bit here. These boys back here, they want to try and stay in touch if they can. So that's Jason Holdsworth, looks like Gareth Anderson back there as well, and Brad Wright. So they're just starting to teeter off the back. The draft will play a big effect, but yeah, you don't really want to be falling too far back, do you, Tyler?
No, you don't. I mean, they're still just in the draft, which is a good thing. But because the pack is so big up ahead, they can lose it. And I think the last thing they want to do is be stuck in the race all by themselves.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. 100% on that. And welcome to Santa Lady over there in the Kick TV chat as well. That's my loving wife. Sitting here listening to me dribble on, sitting beside us. So glad to have her in the chat as well. But we just flick through the field now. Going to look at Darren Robb there in the number 15. Back in 15th spot, ironically enough. Back there in the blue number 15. So again, I think we see a little bit here with the, we were talking about this before, mate, the open setup versus the fixed setup. We'll see the open guys, they'll probably bide their time a little bit. They'll wait until that window we were just talking about, getting near the end. But these fixed boys are certainly mixing it up.
Yeah, no, the fixed boys, I mean, all they're going to do is just keep it nice and clean, don't make a mistake, you know. The open boys as well, they're going to do the same thing. They're similar strategy. They might be able to do something different with the tyre life, with the setup, so they might be able to push it the last lap or two at full speed on better tyres. Who knows what they're going to do, but at the moment, I think everyone would be very, very happy to be 5 laps in and no mistakes so far, which is good to see.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of nose to tail drafting. I haven't really seen a lot of side drafting at the moment, which is kind of interesting. The two lanes have stayed very much to themselves, but we see a little bit of moving in line now. Just everyone just trying to bounce around and get a little groove on there.
Talking about it, like you got a fixed driver on the outside in the front row there. He'll be playing it smart. I don't think he wants to show the cards that you can be closer to the bottom end and draft with them as well. I think he wants to stay where he is. He's very comfortable. Getting a little bit closer, aren't they?
That was Chris Bleakley and Julian Mookie there. If you guys saw those two just slide up the track there and meet each other, kind of us had us in the comment box here going, oh, that was a little close, a bit early for that, boys. But yeah, no, like Tyler, this is it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's
oh yeah,
it's going to be interesting. So actually, we're just looking at the timetable there. Kyle Ridley and Brad Lane have done exactly the same lap time last lap. So has Chris Bleakley. He ran the same lap time. So did Glenn McLeod. Ran the same lap time. So they're all running very, very similar pace right now. So it doesn't matter where you look. It's a sea of cars right now. There's cars everywhere, and it's good to see two reasonably straight lines of cars going forward. So you did make a good point though just before about the track. When it rubbers in, it'll give the advantages to the line there, but will we see much rubbering in, do you think, at all with 50 laps? I mean, it's a long way to go, but do you think the track will rubber up too much?
I don't think it would be rubber up enough, but I think it's, you can see the boys on the outside are starting to make a break now. Yeah, it's intriguing to see what they're going to do if they stay on the outside, not dropping the inside. As you can see, I reckon they're very comfortable on that middle high line, and they believe that is where the momentum's going to be.
Yeah, well, look, I've got to agree with you. I mean, that high line makes a bit of sense. Like that second lane there makes a bit of sense for just trying to keep it slightly higher up speed, really, because when you're a bit lower, you scrub the tyres just a little bit more, so you can kind of be a little freer up on that top. So we'll have to see if that does work for Julian and the crew up there. But I mean, it's still early days, and it's, you know, we look back to these guys right here at the back, and they're still just hanging in there, aren't they? They're, you know, Gareth Anderson back there, Brad Wright, they're just hanging in there.
Yeah, they just got to be careful just not to lose too much ground, because once the boys want to break away, that's where they're in danger of losing the draft. So, but everyone's still got to do a pit stop, so who knows, they might be trying something a little bit different as well, and that might play into their favour. You know, they might be predicting a big crash in front of them that does them all, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones. Go Kyle and Brad in there. Absolutely, Pete. Like the boys up the front, Kyle and Brad there in the fixed trucks working really well together. Just sitting there and just doing their thing. It's good to see. Contagious also looks like everyone's holding back for the Andrew Proctor towing service. Well, let's get on board with the old Andrew Proctor. Let's jump into his cockpit and just see what he's seeing at the moment, shall we? And just have a bit of a look at the sights and sounds of, if I can find the...
Well, Andrew is really in the optimal position, because, yeah, okay, you've got 4 rows of cars in front of him, but if he's going to make a run for it, he'll most likely, and if he times it well, he can block that 3rd and 4th row in behind the draft and slingshot around them. So this is a good position as well.
So what we'll do, folks, get your speakers, get your headphones, turn this up, have a listen. We'll ride on board with Andrew Proctor here and just listen to how they're working these cars through the early stages of this race. So we'll zip it here in the comm box, and we'll let you guys listen to just the sights and sounds of NASCAR trucks at Talladega. Alright, there you go, folks. So you just hear the way they're driving these cars is actually something really special there. But hey Tyler, I got a question for you, buddy. You're Andrew Proctor here. You're looking at the wall of cars. What are you thinking right now as you're racing at, what are we talking about, 200, nearly 300 kilometers an hour?
I mean, if I was him, I'd be a happy man. Just praying to make sure the name in front of him makes a mistake, but he's in such a good position. He can make a move if he has to, and if he times it well, he can block that 3rd row and that 4th row as well in the middle lane and just make a run for it.
Yeah, I mean, like sitting there, I just got visions. I literally had visions of just cars just crashing and just nowhere to go. Your reaction time is so minimal that you just have no time to get out of it and get away from it, do you?
Yeah, it's the risk that we do in racing like this. You know, you got to be on the bumper of everyone just to stay in the tow. As you can see, you know, some of the boys behind slowly drifting apart. But in saying that though, Brad White, he's in P17 and he does have the quickest lap in the race. So,
well, he's actually in P15 now, but yeah, he's pulled the fastest lap.
Now.
So, I mean, it just goes to show you don't need to be up the front to be fast. And I mean, let's just jump on board with Brad White for a minute there. And we see him, the number 8, right up on the top side there. You know, we saw him way back at the back of the field before. Now he's got that quick lap in. And he's right on the back of these guys. So it's... And look, we're not talking much in the way of a lap time. We're talking 200ths of a second. You know, we're talking minimal gap. And that's what these NasTrucks breed. And this oval stuff, it breeds really tight, close pack racing, doesn't it?
Well, not only that, what I do love about Brad in his position, he's a fixed setup driver as well. So he just proves on a track like this, anyone has a chance to make or break to win this race.
So this is our leader, Kyle Ridley. We see him just bolt arrow straight. We can just see Julian just pop his nose up there a little bit, but Kyle's just, yeah, foot to the floor. He's just doing his thing. This is quite the experience to watch. And there's Brad Lane sitting just behind him there, looking rather close. We see Julian now just starting to edge up with Darren Fahey. So that's our teammate for Adrian Loretti there in the YouTube chat. So Darren Fahey from the Kittens Racing Boys. Look at that side by side. Look at that camera shot. That is beautiful, is it not?
It looks like they're ready to start a race. That's how clean they are.
It looks like they're going slow. It's like, boys, when are you going to race? Come on, give us some action.
Yeah, put foot down, put the foot down.
Yeah, that's right. It's look, no, I mean, this is definitely something to watch. And we see now, again, just those fixed boys just work a little bit better on that lower side. I don't know if Darren Fahey is quite comfortable up there behind Julian, but he just doesn't seem to get as close as the other boys are getting to get that draft properly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. He might be trying to think too much on his strategy on whether or not, if there's a slot underneath, he wants to dive under it. That was pretty close again, jeez. I think moments like that probably do make you reconsider how close you want to get to the car below you.
I mean, it probably makes everyone think, wow, I don't want to be anywhere near them if they're going to start doing door-to-door stuff. I mean, it's not just those two guys, it's everyone around them that sort of looks, you know, in the rearview mirror, you're looking and going, oh no, come on, you know, like, don't leave me now, I need you, you know. Like I've seen with the 1-9 wraps there, with what was that, Chris Bleakley and Glenn Wilkinson. You know, they're trying to work together. You've got an open driver and a fixed driver, and the last thing you want is for your teammate to go door to door with someone and take you out as well. So, because you are so close.
I mean, thinking about it, I've only done 4 laps in this car on this track, but if you lose attention or just get distracted by something, you do end to fishtail a bit, and that can be pretty dangerous as well. Because, you know, when you're cruising along and, you know, you're in the same position and driving the same line, it can play with your brain, and, you know, like, a mistake can happen very easily.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And like, especially in these things, it doesn't take much to have that little mistake either. So, like, by the time you have that mistake and you've sort of caught up with it, you've got another 6 or 7 cars that are all bumping and grinding and sliding down the track and up the track and around the place. It just gets messy fast, doesn't it?
Oh, talking about our strategy, what do you reckon of Phil's strategy? I believe it's roughly 35 laps before they have to pit, obviously depending on how much draft they get. Do you reckon that the 2 boys in front, you reckon they might have to pit a little bit earlier?
No, I don't think they'll have to pit too much earlier. I think the window will be set pretty around that 30-35 mark. I think that's where they'll be looking at. So, from my experience on the truck in the ovals, is you're kind of waiting for the safety car. Like, you're kind of waiting for someone to make that mistake so you can get a free pit stop, because you don't want to stop under green. That's generally the rule of thumb. You don't want to stop under green if you can get away with it. So they'll be hoping the drivers will be getting, what are we now, 19 laps? They'll be going, I'm getting pretty close to a window here, and I might need to stop soon. Can someone have a crash? They'll be kind of thinking to themselves, I need someone to spill, because I don't want to be the first to go into pit lane. But what you could see is, depending on whether there's any communication with the boys and how they're talking, is you may see someone like the 1-9 MX Wrap boys there. You might see them peel off together and go and do an early stop just to try and top off the tank and then get back out and maybe force the hand of other drivers to start thinking, do I go? You know, are they making time? You know, because if they can get some clean air and work together, they could potentially be faster. I mean, we saw that with Brad Wright setting the fastest lap there, right? So we see that in the opportunity. If you're in the fresh air, you could potentially go quicker if you got a teammate to help you out. So,
I believe you're right on that one. I believe you're right, because obviously I only done 4 laps in this in practice, and I was 4th quickest, and the pack I was following was a pack of 6 cars.
Yeah.
And I was all by myself, and I was roughly 1.5, 2 seconds behind them, and I managed to catch on to the very back of them on the next lap. So it can be a strategy of, you see the 2 MX rap boys, they might just go, you know what, I'm going to bite the bullet here. Let's both go in. Let's both of us get as a team and get on to it. Have a clear track to ourselves. We don't had to pull back with the cars in front of us, and they might be able to be maybe a couple of tenths quicker than race pace. And then when everyone else got a pit, they might be able to jump them. But then again, the last thing you want to be in front of the pack with only 2 or 3 cars, and then you got a whole pack of piranhas behind you, chasing after you.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And then that's what I'm meaning. If you've got the chance to have a teammate, like, you know, like surely the 2 purple cars there, I mean, they're obviously in there chatting, you know, they've got communication. So, you know, will they do it? Oh, all right. So we see 2 boys go in now. So Jason Holdsworth and Gareth Anderson. So this will be interesting. So that's lap 20. So if it is a 30 lap, you know, they might actually jump in and get out together. So we'll have to see. Keep our eyes on Gareth and Jason there, because that is definitely an early one. But that'll make people starting to think now. It'll be like, oh, okay, do we need it? Like, so they're out now. So they're probably fueled to the finish, I would suggest.
They definitely will have enough fuel to be going all the way to the end. But as well as that, they're all at the back of the pack, just staying at the back of the pack as well. So they might be, who knows, might be working as a team and
let's
stay.
Jump on
we
board.
might be quicker.
Because Kyle Ridley is about to come up. Because remember, those guys are still going to stay at pit speed all the way around to the next corner. So there's the pit lane. They've just come out. They're just on the back straight now. So those boys have got to work together really hard to be getting that taken care of. So how much does that affect, considering now they're on the same stretch of road? How much does that play now on the other drivers? Do they have to go in? Do they stick to their strategy? What do you do if you're out there? What's your play? Do you now try and piggyback straight on them and go straight in, or do you try and run to your strategy? What's the call, do you think?
It's hard, because the 2 boys just prove that you can go into the pit stop and you won't get gobbled up by the pack. So you'd rather be in a pack of 4 cars, and if you can be fast and work as a team. Oh no, that's an instant into the pits. Oh jeez.
Oh wow.
What happened there?
That is involving a lot of cars, but that's in pit lane, so that's not going to throw a caution. Where is Kyle? Kyle's now back in 3rd.
Something must have happened coming into it.
Something must have gone on there with trying to see where Julian might have gotten past. Here is the replay. Let's have a look. Oh,
That's real close.
so they might have just run that in. Like, they might have just made that. Maybe that our groove is working nicely for itself.
I think there was contact between Brad Lane and one of the MX boys. Brad Lane was actually in P3 at the time. And because Brad Lane was going across the pit entry, all the cars had nowhere to go entering in, so they had to step on the brake to make sure they didn't hit him. That explains why there was cars everywhere.
Right, there we go. Okay. Well, that explains that. So, all right, now, here's the question. Front three boys are off on their own. They have got a gap all around them. When do they box? Are they in communication with each other? Do they have a line to talk on?
It's going to be hard. I mean, Kyle, he'll be thinking to himself, you know, great, now I'm actually finally behind 2 cars rather than being out in front. And he might be in a prime position now, considering that there was a bit of a scuffle behind from the pit entry. If I was those 3, you'd be working as a team to make sure that you maintain that lead. They got such a good advantage, like 40 seconds almost. It's a massive advantage to have.
Now, let's throw this into the curveball. Who's on screen?
You got Jason
And Gareth Anderson. Jason Holsworth, Gareth Anderson. The boys who stopped on lap 20. They were the early stoppers. Look at where they are now. They're in 4 and 5.
Yeah, they definitely benefited from an early pit stop there.
Sure did.
I'm intrigued to see if the boys behind them will try to work as a team to catch up to the 2. But then again, you're looking at it, what, lap 27, you got maybe 5 to 8 laps left of fuel before it's completely empty, so
Yeah, clean air, but if I'm these boys, I'm boxing. I'm in because I'm losing time now. They're losing time to Gareth and Jason, so they've got a box, I reckon. This lap, I think, is the call, potentially, but we'll have to see. No, they've gone on again, so there you go. Speed Demon just joined us on the Kick channel as well. Welcome in, Speed.
I mean, they could probably see the 2 packs ahead of them, especially the one that's really close to them. They might be believing that they're quick enough to catch up onto that pack and use that draft to regain those couple of seconds that they've lost on them. It's going to be interesting. Like, it's going to be hard, but I think it's roughly 30 seconds they need. Ooh, they just got caught up from the 2 boys behind.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That's the 10 and the 29. That's the 10. Back there, Reno Wilkinson and Glenn Wilkinson. Reno Wilkinson and Glenn Wilkinson back there. So they are actually a lap down on these guys here. So do they try and get that lap back, or do they just sit there now and use the fuel save to get the lap back when these 3 have to pit?
Yeah, they'll definitely get the lap back when they pit. If I was those 2, I'd just stay behind and use them as a tow to try and catch up to the 4 cars ahead. I mean, when you think about it, 3 boys in the first, second, and third, they are out in front and quicker, so why wouldn't you utilise that 10th or 2?
Look, here we go. This is on, mate. This is on.
There we go.
This is about to get to a whole nother level.
So
don't forget, 22 laps to go.
That car coming out the pitch has really helped the 3 boys in first, second, and third now. Getting that tow to catch up to the bigger pack ahead of them, I think. Really fitting.
Second and third, boxing now. So Julian is the only car still out there who has not boxed. So Kyle and Glenn have bolted for the pit. They've realised they're in a position now they need to. What does Julian do now? Because he's stuck, isn't he? He's in the middle.
Oh, he has to make sure that he doesn't get stuck on the outside lane, because everyone else is pitted, so they can block him from entering the pit lane, and that's not good for him.
What does he do, though? Does he push on?
It's like he's got decent speed. He might be able to be quick enough to get past all of them and get in front, but it's bizarre how he decided to stick on the outside there.
Well, he's way up high. Oh no, he's dropping right back now. Look, he's getting caught, as you're saying. He's just been caught. Oh,
he wants to pit.
No.
Oh, man, that's all.
No.
That is a double whammy. Obviously making contact with the car in front of him and then also being contacted behind as well. And that's
Yeah, who was
that's
that?
the risk that he took, taking the outside line and trying to come into the pits with cars on the inside. That's too much of a risk, and that hurts him a lot.
Yeah, it makes it a big problem there. That, yeah, that was a bit of a, I think a miscalculation there, by the look of that. But there's Kyle Ridley and Glenn McLeod, they're working there. But they've actually come out behind Gareth and Jason, dude.
Yeah, that's massive. I mean, I can't believe, but I can believe that the two cars that were dead last in the race that come out P1 and P2.
Well, Julian's still yet to pit, so yeah, technically, Gareth and Jason here are 1 and 2. But we need to see if Kyle and Glenn can get back to them because they are making ground, and they're making a lot of ground fast. So that's a window of opportunity. But Darren Fahey's 6 seconds back. He's leading this little pack here with Tim Blundell and Chris Bleakley. Again, there's 6 seconds off the pace. How hard's that going to be to make up, do you think?
I mean, it depends. I'm not 100% sure with the strategy. I don't know if it's just a top up or a tyre change. If there's a tyre change involved, I believe the boys in obviously third and fourth do have the advantage to have another 5-6 laps fresh on the tyres. They've obviously will catch up to the two boys ahead of them, so they will use less fuel, they will use less tyres. It will play into their roles. That's very, very close.
You just saw that wiggle too, did you? Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Getting around Andrew Proctor towing service there. They there was just a little wiggle. I think that was Jason that got a little loose in the top groove there. But look at this, mate. Look who it's coming. It's Kyle and Glenn, mate.
Them up.
They are
They're
coming.
gonna gobble them up.
Andrew needs to drop
about-
on the back of this now.
Yeah, he has to. Unfortunately, he's a lap down, but if he stays there, he might be lucky for a lucky dog if there's a safety car, and get back into a really good position. But if I was him, I'd stay in the back of them and keep it clean.
Kyle played the game there? He has. Kyle's actually used Andrew as a blocker to Glenn. He's actually used Andrew to put a car between... Oh... That was a wiggle. That was a little bit of contact, I reckon.
Talked about laps. They both got into the 51.86, both Kyle and Glenn. So that is roughly 3-4 tenths quicker than two boys ahead. So I think they've got a real good advantage at the moment.
But let's look at this though. Kyle is the only fixed driver in that top 3 right now.
He's played it really smart.
He's done well. This has been fantastic. The Nitro boys are working really well together, but Kyle's just come back out and he's gotten on the back of this. With 17 to go, what do you do if you're Kyle Ridley? Do you press on with it? Do you make a meal of it? Or do you just sit there and try and bide your time to the last 3 or 4 laps?
Yeah, I think it's the last option. You got to just wait. You still got 16 laps to go. You don't want to go out there all by yourself because you're putting them into optimum tyre temperature, fuel strategy, stuff like that, especially if they decide to undercut to try and make that time gain in the pitch and obviously on the track as well. But as you can see, Glenn on a massive toe on Kyle. I'd rather be in 4th position. Rather be in 4th position right now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there, Tyler. I think I'd rather be Glenn McLeod here than Gareth or Jason because they're using a lot of tyre and they've used it to get to this point as well. So I wouldn't mind seeing that 3 and 4 just start considering that high line. Here we go. We see Kyle just wiggle, just jump out of line a little bit. Show him the nose. I like it. Contagious there. Andrew Proctor Towing Service down for maintenance. Yeah, no, he's getting the tow, mate. He's not doing the towing. He's getting the tow. Actually, Andrew Proctor just set the fastest lap. 51.51.
Yeah, that is 0.02 seconds quicker than Glenn on that last lap.
So he's He's definitely using that. Oh, you look at the nitro boys. They're just starting to fan a little bit. The boys are just starting to get out there.
Oh, the question is, it's more the strategy in first and second. Yeah, okay, third and fourth is staying behind on the inside line, but where would you rather be? Would you rather be on the inside or the outside on the last couple of laps? So I think they're toying Kyle right now, saying, here, take the inside line, we want the outside line. It's a bit of a risky move.
If I'm Kyle, I'm hoping Glenn is in the same mindset as me, and I'm thinking I'm going to run the outside coming into the last 3 laps. I'm going to move up, and I want Glenn to come with me so we can punch through the air, because they've got slightly fresher tyres. Now, where was the pit stops at? What's the tyre difference? It's 8 laps. 8 laps.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tyres. That's a lot of tyres. So if I'm Glenn and Kyle right now, I'm happy to sit where I am, and I'm thinking I've got to go high side. That's the key. I think if you're going to have momentum, I think you've got to use the high line. So if I'm Kyle, I'm thinking I'm going to try and drag Glenn with me, and then hope Glenn doesn't dive me right at the finish line and try and cut underneath me again. But
all that time, I've just seen Gareth and Jason just get into the 51 seconds, so 51.8. So they're slowly getting quick as well, but that is actually putting Kyle and Glenn in a better position, because the quicker you are, the more tyres you're using. It can be pretty risky, but they're catching up to a slower car right now. This can shuffle a couple of positions if they can't work as a team here.
They're getting to the back of, it looks like Mark Brocott. Yeah, Mark's just done the smart thing, and he's just gone, yeah, boys, I'm not even going to get involved in that. He'll pull up out of the way, he'll slide in behind Andrew, and he'll just get back on the draft here. But I was just looking here, Chris Bleakley there with Tim Blundell and Darren Fahey. Darren Fahey has led this pack for the last, 10 or 15 laps, since the pit stop. He's he's just leading this little pack there. Contagious, I cannot answer that question for you. I am unaware. I'm not fresh on the rulebook for that one. I think it's 1, but it could be as many as 3. So I'm not 100% certain on that. But yeah, we'll.
In honesty with the green white checker is, I don't want to curse it, but I don't think we will see a green white checker. Unless something really silly happens, but I think these boys have driven so well and so clean, especially when they're in the pack as well. I don't think the boys in the top 4 will want to risk such a good position.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now it looks like Julian Mookie, they're just getting to the back of Andrew Proctor. So he's going to be on the back of this. I don't think he can really get too far forward, if I'm being completely honest, because it looks like he is a lap down on the front 4 anyway. Or he's very close to it. No, he is actually a lap down, so he would have to get past him and back around again. So that's that option that he kept with that high side around the around that pit stop time. He just kind of made that misjudgment.
Yeah, it's definitely a harsh lesson to learn.
Look at this
I mean, to me, I find it bizarre. If you want to pit, why wouldn't you want an inside line? Because that's the optimum position. You're not going to get caught with the cars when you're diving down into the pits.
Absolutely. Look at this pack, mate, on screen. 5 cars, all for position, and it's led by none other than an open driver, 2 open drivers actually. So it's the 86 of Brian Blundell, followed by Darren Robb, and then you go into Ryan Huckle, Glenn Wilkinson, and Reno, all on fixed setup. So look at this line change. All the boys have just moved up a little. You don't want to be fighting there, boys.
The 5 of them, they got to work as a team, because they got another 3 more cars in front of them, roughly 7 seconds in front. They want to catch up to them and try and work as a team in the last 9 laps to even have a chance to catch up with the top 4 boys. So it's harsh, but they just got to stick together and try not to do silly moves or silly overtakes.
Well, I think we're going to ride with this front pack, ladies and gentlemen. This is 10 laps to go. Repeating, 10 laps. That's 40 in the books already. They are getting to that final stage where you want to try and start looking, and it looks like Kyle's starting to have a think about it. Will he make the move? That is the question. They have a 20-second gap over Tim Blundell and the boys there. And then there's another 6 seconds back to this pack here. So I think our top 4 in our podium is set. But we all know anything can happen.
Yeah, well, one thing I am really happy to see is Andrew Proctor still have the quickest lap at the moment on track. So it proves that, you know, anyone has a chance to be fast and have a chance to win a race. But just hopefully next time he has a bit more lady luck and not get taken out.
And it's a little bit of a kick towards the whole, you know, fixed and open running together, because this has been an absolute stellar show. 8 laps to go. Jason's just starting to move up. Is he trying to balk Kyle into making the move and going with him? I have to wait and see.
8 laps. You want to wait for the last 4 laps. It's maybe 3 laps you're looking at going, yeah, okay, I'm going to go past. If I was Glenn, I wouldn't be... Oh, is it Glenn? Yeah, Glenn 4th.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Glenn
be too
McLeod,
hungry if I was him, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be too worried if I'm Glenn or Kyle right now. I'd be definitely looking, I'd be definitely starting to see where I can just pick up a little bit extra pace, because we did see Julian in that on that high side early didn't have much of a choice, but with the tyre advantage that these boys behind in 3 and 4 have got, surely they can use that and drive around the outside, you'd expect, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he definitely will, but like I said, with a lot of drivers staying on the inside line, I'm a little bit concerned there might not be enough rubber higher up. So
Look. He was starting to show his hand. Kyle's thinking.
He's thinking about it.
He's a driver, mate, isn't he? He really is a driver. He's thinking about it all the time. He's all over it. He wants to do well. He wants to represent his team well, and I think you just start to see when they can just get that drive off the corner. They're just a little bit better in P3 and 4 right now.
Well, I believe that Kyle might be trying to push Jason to make a mistake and get underneath him, pushing Jason out of the draft. If that happens, that it plays into his hand a lot, because you've been P2, he's got a draft, the car on the outside will fall back because there's no draft. But then again, that does put Glenn into a better position as well. So it's a lot of strategy being played here. Slower car up ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, what does Brad Wright do? If you're Kyle, do you not... Oh, no, he moved up, I was going to say. Do you see him? Do you move up and do you try and make the slower car think of which line he wants to affect? But no, Brad got out of the way pretty quick there, so that was a good set. So 6 laps to go. Let's just check in briefly with Darren Fahey and the boys back there. So Tim has gotten around Darren. And Chris is still just hanging in there. So that's a good little battle there. And we drop back to the other pack here, which is the other 5 cars that are just trying to edge their way to the back of Chris Bleakley and Darren Fahey there. It's 5 laps to go. This time round, we'll get back to the front, and there it is. I mean, it hasn't changed. It's the Nitro boys in 1 and 2. It's Frog Leap Juice, and then it's Glenn McLeod there in 4. The 2 cars behind them on the back are not in this, so keep in mind they are not part of the podium at this point.
Well, I'm down at the back of Andrew Proctor, and you have Murky. He's looking on the outside and trying to overtake Proctor. I think he's trying to signal to the boys, go, hey, go on the outside here. I know there's a position for me to gain, and there's 2 positions for you to gain. Let's work as a team.
Well, 4 to go. 4 to go. Let's get into... Actually, let's get into Glenn McLeod's cockpit, shall we? Let's see what he's going to see. Here we go. So Kyle definitely looking. He's definitely sliding up the track. Look, he's half a car. He's thinking about it. 4 laps to go. What's your call, chat? Do the Nitro boys hang on for a 1-2, or do they get relegated back to lower positions and we see a winner from the 3 or 4 position? You just hear Glenn just feather the throttle a little bit there. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
He just feathered that. He didn't... Look, he's feathering it. He's not at full noise. This will be 3 laps to go. He's not at full noise, so...
I think this is just falling into his hands right now. He knows he's not overdriving the car. He's keeping the tyres in such a good temperature range to attack all 3 cars ahead of him. I think maybe at the moment, if Kyle wants to do something about it, he needs to make a break now. Otherwise, Glenn would just have such a great opportunity to take all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think it's at this point here, I think if you're in P3, you've got to make a move. You've got to get on that high side. Off this corner, you've got to use the draft and maximise it and get to that outside. And you've got to bring Glenn with you, unfortunately. Oh, I see a gap there. It's forming. There he goes.
Oh,
he's listening to the comm box. All right, he's listening. All right, how does this shape up, chat? Does Kyle Ridley get the W here on this, the last 2 laps? I definitely think they've got a tyre advantage, and Andrew is going to make it a three car run up the top. Kyle's coming. He's coming.
If
he's
Glenn,
coming. Glenn's as close. He's as close as he can be, I think. Oh, it's on though. All right, Tyler, what's your call, mate? Who's going to win it?
It's looking like that. I mean, the way how Cole driven, he deserves to win, but these 2 boys up ahead. Maybe last lap. No, I'm gonna call for Glenn. P4.
We are on the final lap. This is it, folks. White flag is out. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Jason's having a look to go into the outside of Gareth.
I don't know if he's going to look. I think he's just going to stay there, dude. Kyle's got almighty run down this back straight. I don't think there's going to be enough.
There's a slow car up ahead as well. There's a slow car up ahead. That might get a toe for the inside line.
I don't know it's going to be enough. As they come around this final corner. Yeah, looks like the high line just died completely. Right. There's Barney. Here they come. And it is going to be Gareth, Jason, Kyle, Glenn. Wow. Well done. Well done to everyone. No safety car. What an amazing effort. Again, like that's just some high level driving there. Well done, boys.
Considering
look at this, it's on. Oh,
Here you go.
He's got it. Darren Fate is going to get P5. Oh, yes. What a run. Unlucky for the 2 boys behind him, Tim and Chris there. That was a little bit of late contact there, but that was fantastic. So we'll get you the finishing order in just a moment. We'll wait for everyone to get over the line. I think we've got the results now. I think that's all locked away. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is your finishing order. So Gareth Anderson wins the Talladega 50-lap race tonight, followed by Jason Holdsworth, Kyle Ridley, Glenn McLeod, Darren Fahey, Tim Blundell, Chris Bleakley, Brian Blundell, Reno Wilkinson, and Darren Robb rounding out your top 10. Wow, Tyler. Oof. That was fun, mate.
Mate,
that was
considering
awesome.
Gareth, he came from last position to first position from that. That's just phenomenal what he just did. I thought the tyres were going to fall off and Kyle and Glenn would have taken P1, P2, but well done for the both of them. They've done a such a tremendous job.
Yeah, no, they ran their strategy well. Those boys at the Nitro Sim Racing, they did very well with their strategy tonight. It played out. That's what we did say, though. If you got that early stop and you could get the clean air and get going again, it was definitely on. But yeah, no, that was fun. That was good to watch, and a lot of good racing there throughout that pack. And congratulations to Darren Fay. I know he only joined tonight. It's his first run with CFR here for the trucks and for the Kittens boys. So that's a top 5 for Darren there. And so that was awesome.
It would have been great fun to be on the track with those boys. They kept it nice and clean. Only a small hiccup for the pit entries, but that's always expected when people are going zigzagging in and out from the high and the lows to try and get into the pits. But other than that, it's phenomenal. I reckon all of them just should keep their heads high, even if they get caught in the incident, and I think they all drove really well.
Yeah, no, they all drove fantastically tonight. That was very, very special. So we'll just see if we can get the podium in. Kyle Ridley would be ecstatic with that. I'll see if he is around. It doesn't look... Oh, no, he is there. What we will do is we will go to the chat and get...
Yeah. No,
All right, let's,
looking at the comments, Pete, I do agree with you there. Yeah, it's a pity that the Highline did die off on the boys. I was hoping 2 or 3 car across the finish line, but maybe next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just never know these days, do you? It just that top side just kind of fell away and whatever else. But all right, we've got our P3 man in here. Let's drag him in, Mr. Kyle Ridley. Mate.
That's the wrong one. You got Jason.
Oh, well, let's talk to Jason. Why not? We'll talk to Jay. Jason, welcome in, buddy. I must have just grabbed you as you joined in there. So congratulations tonight, mate. P2. How was that?
Interesting. So obviously never done fixed and open. So we tried to short pit it. Obviously you guys would have seen that. And tried to do it with 2. So it was actually a pretty fun race because it was something new.
Yeah, no, we did see that. And we'll talk about it in the com box thinking, do you go early? What's the strat? Do you push on? What do you do? And then we saw you and Gareth just peel straight off and went in together. And I was like, oh, okay, this could work. And then you just come out with, I don't know, there's, a little far back, but, you stuck with your strategy and it worked.
Yeah, the most difficult part, probably taking that early pit, is you need to overfuel a little bit more than if you pitted later. So
Right.
That's why probably a little bit longer in the box. But yeah, it worked. Happy with that. Can't complain, obviously pushing Gareth along.
Yeah, no, you boys did well, mate. Well, I mean, I guess the question is, mate, time to give the shout-outs and who keeps you on track? Like, who's bringing you to the league and doing the things that keeps you out there, mate?
Obviously, the whole Nitro crew. So nitro-racing.com. Russ, Matt, Dan, and the whole team who obviously work together on making setups each week. And obviously keeping me... And Gareth as well. Not this time, I'm not winning, but usually in officials, we're winning quite a fair bit. So yes, big thanks to those guys.
Awesome work, mate. You just put on quite the show tonight, so that was fantastic to watch, especially in those dying laps. We thought the tyre advantage might have played a little bit into the hands of Kyle and Glenn, but you hung on there, so well done, mate.
Thank you.
All right, mate, we'll throw you back.
Yep.
We'll chuck him back out. Okay, now we'll bring in third place, since that got me kind of short-shifted. Kyle Ridley, mate, P3 tonight. How was that? You weren't expecting to see lap 1, mate, and you saw 50 laps and you got a podium.
Yeah, I know, right? I was a bit surprised, to all honesty. I mean, got pole as well, and yeah, just cruise home to the P3.
Yeah, right. No.
No.
So how was it? You were leading for a fair while there, mate.
I was, yeah, being pushed and poked at the front, but I was happy. I can hold the wheels straight, which is a big thing for these. It always annoys me when I do officials and the guy in me is just all over the place. You got to hold that wheel straight. So.
So did you think there at the end, you had a bit of a tire advantage? Did you think it might have paid off for you there, or did you know coming in that final 10 to 15 laps that you were kind of shot and you were just there for the podium at that point?
I wasn't too sure because I led for the first 20 or so laps, so I had a lot less fuel than everybody else. So I was counting the numbers, thinking, I'm only going to finish with 1 lap extra, and praying there wasn't going to be a green-white checker because I would have to have come in.
Fair enough.
The last 2 laps, I was like, well, I've got to try to do the high line, see what can done. Because then, worst case is 4th or 3rd. So I tried it, and 3rd is still good. I mean, for the fixed, it's, super speedway, but it's still a good effort. And I'm happy to actually see 50 laps this week because all the officials I've done, I think I got there.
Yeah, right. No, that's not too bad, mate. So, it was a good race. We watched you from the front. We saw you, just stick with those boys there. But, no, well done. And I guess time for your shout-outs, mate. Who's keeping you out there on the things on track?
Just give me about 15 seconds to
He's got to pull up the document. He doesn't even know it.
I do. But there's a good chance I'll miss one.
He's always on the podium, isn't he?
I know. You'd think all the amount of podiums I do happen to get, I would know. But I'd like to thank FR Creative, Eddie's PC Repairs, the Pet Door Company, Toyo Sim, and Juiced Energy.
Nah, awesome work, Kyle, mate.
And
well
of course, all the boys at Checkered Flag Racing.
Oh, no, we appreciate it, mate. But well done, buddy. Congratulations. That was a solid drive tonight and one that's probably unexpected, I guess.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Excellent. All right, mate, go and have fun, and we'll see you later on in the week driving something else. All right, and let's get Mr. Gareth. We get Gareth Anderson into the comms box. Gareth, congratulations, mate. Winner tonight. Interesting race.
Yeah, it was, man. It was. It was a heap of fun. Shoulders and wrists and stuff are a bit tender after that.
So we're talking to Jace there, and we saw you guys make an early stop. Was that part of the strategy, or was that just on the fly? You just made that call?
Oh, racing with Jace for the last couple of years, and he's a bit of an ace with the trucks, and it's we do a lot of the opens week on week, and he seems to be the strategic one. Tells us when to pit and how much fuel we got and all that. So it's a team effort, this one for sure.
Yeah, nice. Were you worried about the boys coming back, at the end there with a bit of a tyre advantage? Was that even on your mind, or were you just set and ready to go?
Well, no, individually we've got a fast set. I mean, we're running the same setup, and if Jason had been there, it might have been touch and go, but he's one of the best pushers that I know, and feel completely safe when he was, pushing me from behind. So there was not really any concern. Maybe a lap, 2 laps to go, there was a little bit I got a little bit loose. Looked at the timing and everything instead of probably having my eyes on the track and missed my mark a bit. But all worked out good. So
you get the number one to carry home tonight, mate. That's it was a solid drive, and it was a good effort to see you boys working so well together there with Jace as well. But we throw it to you now, mate. Give the shout outs to your team and who's bringing you to the track and keeping you busy doing the things with the truck.
Oh yeah, just shout out to Jace for pushing us through that and getting the win. I've had so many in 4.5 years of racing, so many league races, and it just seems to be my nemesis. I just can't seem to I either get wrecked or something goes wrong. So it's good to finally get one under the belt. So thanks to Jace and all the guys, teammates at Nitro for all the effort and work they put into the sets each week to provide us like top-notch sets, winning sets. So thanks to you guys too for the broadcasting. It's I'll have to check the broadcast out later. And but appreciate you guys taking your time out of it, and all the admins and everything for this league. It's only my second week running this league, but it's an awesome league. So happy to be here. Happy to take the win as well. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hold that trophy high, mate. One final question for you, though. Were you surprised to see no safety car tonight?
Not really. I suppose Martinsville, was it Martinsville last week? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
Martinsville
Martin.
last week. I mean, it's to be expected. I mean, A, B, and C series for the whole week was just well, I wouldn't say a nightmare, but it's Martinsville, it's iRacing, and there were a lot of cautions last week. But no, I expected it to maybe 1 or 2 cautions. I know a lot of the guys in here, and I know they're all good at their plate tracks. So I had a funny feeling it may go green, but if anything, I thought maybe there might be 1 or 2 cautions of that, So got to do a shout out to the rest of the field as well for running a good race and a green flag race. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, well done, mate. Excellent work tonight. Hey, congratulations again, mate. We'll see you next week where we hopefully get another chat with you in the comm box at the end of the night. But mate, go and celebrate with the team because it was definitely worthwhile.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Gareth.
Okay, catch up.
All right, that was our podium there. In a bit of a backwards order, but I see Cameron Hardwick join the YouTube chat there. G'day, Cameron. Good to see you, mate. But Sheafy, that was something special, mate, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Talladega is such a big track. It was good to see a green to checker race and no safety cars. But in saying that as well, like Gareth and Jason, right on for them. I took the hats to them. I could see them stand at the back of the pack, and they're within the tow, and to come into the pits that early, fill up a lot more top heavy than anyone else, and then to come back out in front of everyone, that's just phenomenal. Well done for those two. I thought that the boys behind were gonna eat them up like the piranhas, but no, they done a great job to hold their position, and fair play to them.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a cracking finish. Well, you guys have become very accustomed to what comes next, and it is the review panel. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw to an intermission while we let the boys get their reviews put in place, and we'll come right back with the reviews from tonight's race. So stay by, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Okay,
All
so
right.
3 to review tonight. We'll go through in lap order, I think. So
Two.
first one's gonna be lap 23. No, there's 3. There's 3.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm only seeing two.
Nah, the lap 29 and lap 30 are the same incident, man.
Yeah, the same thing. And Julian's already put his hand up for that. So that's
Yep. So lap 30, car 39, lap 50, 19 finish line, lap 23 pit entry, car
yep.
19 and 119. So there is 3.
yeah, we don't need to look at Julian's because he's already taken fault for it.
Yep.
So there's only
We're
two.
happy to just award that. I mean, I've looked at it in the sim. It's just a.
Yeah, no, he's already taken fault for it anyway, so that's not even looking
It's
at.
just
We're just looking
5
at
points.
23 and lap 50.
Okay.
So-
Well, I'll leave you to do the notes then, Rob, if that's the case. You're happy with that? Cool. So then lap 30 and the finish. Lap 30, I'm assuming.
23 in the finish.
All right, lap 23 in the finish. And it is for car 19 and 119.
19. So Chris Bleakley and Brad Lane, can you guys jump on mute if you're here, please?
Pit entry, dude.
Yep. All right, so that's obviously pretty clear front to rear contact.
Yeah. Did he brake though?
Yes.
He shouldn't be
attempting to slow
braking.
down for pit lane. Yeah.
He shouldn't be braking on the racing surface.
Because the speed change, so he's gone from 282 here and backing up from the car in front, he's down to 272 and when he gets the shot, and the car behind is maintaining momentum. All right, so is there any further points anyone else wants to add? Are we all just happy with the penalty on the 119 for braking on the racing surface and not down on the pit lane entry?
Even though he put in the chat he was pitting?
But he still can't pit from the racing surface.
Okay. Just a question.
He didn't put I'm pitting, that was someone else.
But do we have anything in
he
the...
did put it up. I seen it.
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure where are they entitled to leave the track for pit entry.
Anyway, as soon as they come off this banking, they can pull off anywhere.
Yeah, there's plenty of room to brake.
That's a little bit late to be pulling off a pit lane entry.
Yeah, he's past the braking marker. Yeah, he's never going to make pits there either.
No. Are we all happy with that on the 119? Is there do I hear anyone else? Okay, on the 119, job done. So that's here's where I need to read the rules because I don't know these yet. The problem is, where do we stick that under?
Is there a rule for it?
No, not really. There's driving infringement causing disadvantage to another car, which is effectively as close as we're going to get.
Well, it technically does because it checks up 3 and I get damage from it, which actually ruins my race.
Maybe it's a rule we can put in the future. Maybe unsafe pit entry, unsafe pit release or something.
So where's Buff in this?
Further back.
How do you end up with damage out of it? Oh, you're coming to the lane. That's not as a result of that.
No.
I've slowed right down, but the car up the side, watch the car that comes down.
Yeah.
He comes down because of that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because of that, yeah.
It's all a flow on.
Yeah, because if Brad didn't back off or brake, Chris wouldn't hit him.
That's not really the incident, though. That's
yeah. You can't be claimed. This is avoiding action.
Yeah.
So you can't put the penalty on, particularly with NASCAR, like avoiding action. Like everyone just scatters, right? So you can't realistically put a penalty on the 50. You can say that yes, this was an avoiding action as a part of the incident, but it's not intentional. There's no. He's just doing all he can.
That's why the 50. I didn't put it down as a 50. That's why I put it down as what cause he is avoiding.
Cool. All right. We still happy with that? No changes. So it'll be driving infringement causing disadvantage on the 119 minus 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then the final one is race. 19, last lap of the race, coming to the finish line. Do we want any other angles? Does anyone else want anything done? All right, so you guys are actually in charge of this. I actually shouldn't be making any rulings or anything.
It's on the 4. Block's too late.
Yeah. Late block.
Yeah.
It definitely does look like last second block.
Or is he trying to get out of the way of that other car because he's now on his inside, coming to the line?
No, even so, he would stay here. He wouldn't move up.
Yeah.
2 lane. I need to stop talking.
Yeah. No, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah. That's a late block for the finish.
Yeah, I think he used that because obviously the 2 boys behind had the toe and the speed coming into that last bit. Yeah, it looked like he just tried to hold on, but just a little bit too late.
He's thrown the block.
Yeah, Timo's thrown it too late.
Cool. So I think that's another contact causing disadvantage. The only other one we have is blocking on that one, which is a 6-point penalty. So our 2 options here are driving infringement causing disadvantage to another car, -10, or blocking. Actually, I won't even mention. We shouldn't really be thinking about the penalties.
It's got nothing to do with the penalty. I didn't think it caused a disadvantage. It wasn't going to change any outcome.
But it's a late block as well, so.
But do you want to put this down as a block, or do you want to put it down as contact causing disadvantage? Because
it's on the last lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on the last little bit of the lap, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the run of the finish.
Generally, just before the start-finish line, it is what it is, isn't it?
That's just a block.
Just a block, yeah.
I don't think it's penalty worthy.
There's no penalty to it.
I don't think
all 3 cars went across the line.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that's the way that it is. If Bubba Wallace had done it, everyone would have spun. Sorry. I'm a Bubba fan.
But the block is still too late if there's overlap. So we need to go back to the point where they first make contact. Is there overlap? There's
overlap. You can see it.
Oh, to me, it basically moved off his driving line completely.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than maintaining it.
But there's been no disadvantage technically. Because he hasn't actually.
He probably would have got past the car on the inside.
Yeah. Actually, stream back out and see how far from the finish they are, actually.
Yeah, because the finish is pretty far up at Talladega.
Yeah,
finishes there.
He would have cleared. He would have cleared the inside.
So I'm a fucking rookie. You're allowed to block, but if there's overlap, that block's too late. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. To block, you need to be in front. He's not in front.
You got to be clear. You can't hit someone.
Just remember what we call it here. This is what's going to be set for the rest of the season.
Yep.
I suggest not blocking at all.
No.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
If you call us blocking here or
it's going to be a nasty penalty for a slight misjudgment.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so all in favour of blocking?
Really?
I thought it was the second one, contact to disadvantage, because I think he would have got the car on the inside.
But if he's a rule for blocking, Jace, it's more that rather than contact with disadvantage.
But it's not blocking; it's a failed block.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
contact to disadvantage.
What are you trying to work out? If you give him a points penalty, or
Well, you would give him a points penalty no matter what here. So that there would be a points penalty. It's just how severe.
So if you wrecked him, I don't know. I really don't know ovals, but from an outsider amateur, I'd say he's blocked him and disadvantaged him, but he hasn't wrecked him. Like it was a.
So is that what we're going to call contact causing disadvantage? Because
I don't think you can't judge it on the outcome as much as just what the incident is.
Well, the sort of contact causing disadvantage is always judging on the outcome.
Yeah.
Like with these things, any damage that you have, and it doesn't really apply to this situation here because you're coming to the line.
Yeah.
Any damage that you have to either front quarters, even the rear and that, any contact is disadvantaging you throughout the race. It will cost you time on this game.
it will also cost you.
That's not to this circumstance here. Like next week when you're at Dover, when you hit the wall, what's your lap times for?
Yeah, but that's Dover. We're working on this one. Let's stay on.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying we're saying this is going to be a rule going forward, so you got to think of the implications going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever we call here, this is what's going to be set pretty much. Because we've got how many more super speedways this season?
None. Yes.
I thought there's only one more.
Isn't there one more?
No, Daytona's not till later in the year.
But is it a bad block cause disadvantage, or is it a bad block?
Well, it's either blocking or causing, like contact causing disadvantage. There's no blocking causing disadvantage. It's either one or the other. So we either need to go left or right, boys.
Well, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just this is just a good decision point for the rulings going.
Are they the same? Are they the same penalty points?
No,
they're
not.
No, different.
No.
The lesser penalty is blocking. Yeah.
Lesser penalty is blocking.
But to be blocking, he would have to have got right in front.
Yeah. He would have actually had to block clean. So I'd say for me, we need to come to a decision. We need to come to a decision. I think it's contact causing disadvantage.
Okay. I'll put two scenarios here. Okay, so we've got the scenario that we've got on screen, which is whereby the block is thrown late and it's thrown once there is a tiny amount of overlap, right? By the rules, that is enough overlap, which is what we're going to go with, and that's so. The problem I've got here is I'm not just pitching this to you guys that are NASCAR guys. I'm also talking to everyone that we've got newbies tonight, whereby this is one of their first ever NASCAR races and they're getting into it. So, in a NASCAR world, any overlap is considered enough overlap. Pretty much. You should be knowing when to expect it. This is in my books and the way that I would normally view this. Outside of this and completely objective to this, I would consider this a very, very late block as well. Because if I'm going to shut this momentum down, I would have shut it down before now. This is a little bit late. A little bit difficult to handle the situation given the other cars trying to go through on the inside as well. So that's just the insight on that. So let's say he does make the block. He breaks the block successfully with no overlap. I would still be not issuing that penalty on the last lap because that is what I would expect at Talladega, personally. So I would be more inclined to handle this as a contact causing disadvantage, which is the slightly lesser penalty. There's only a couple points in it.
I thought you said blocking was less.
The blocking's less.
Yes, sorry. It is the slightly more penalty, wrong way around. Yes, so it is 10, it gets up to 20 because it is the last lap, or it's 6 up to 12 because it's the last lap. This is just good hard NASCAR racing in my book. This is, you would expect this every single time you get a situation like this on the last lap at Talladega. It's probably a little bit cheeky, but that's also how you race these things.
Is something that we're trying to prevent? So, say for example, if that caused a bigger incident,
correct?
Like, is that something that we're trying to prevent?
Correct.
Okay, as a rookie here, I would do the same as number 4 because I would have been watching the car down the bottom.
Yeah.
As a rookie's view, I wouldn't have looked at the 19.
Correct.
But it's your responsibility to be aware of where all the cars are around you.
Yep, it's just, all this stuff happens in moments, man. Like, we're not saying that you're going to prevent this. This is just racing.
Julian can't say that because he took me out at the pits.
Yeah,
so, how does that work, Julian?
That's what I said,
he owned up to it.
100% my responsibility. I'm sorry for that, man.
This is probably the bigger question that you need to answer. Is it okay in this league to wreck people to win?
No.
No.
If that's not what you want, this needs to be penalised in my eyes.
Yeah. I think we're all saying this is going to be penalised. It's just
to beat blocking, he needs to make the block clear. So it's just contact causing a disadvantage.
There you go.
But then he's not licking them either because he still finishes.
But what I'm saying, Scott, is you're saying, this just happens in NASCAR. NASCAR doesn't have these rules, but you get payback in NASCAR in real life,
Correct.
remember?
Yeah, I know.
But you don't want that in this league.
I know.
You also get banned and protested on iRacing for doing it.
Yeah. So
contact causing disadvantage, a rule.
Yeah. You'd have to. For it to be blocking, he would have had to have made it stick and then backed him up to be blocked.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
personally, I find as a personal thing, and this is now after this. I'll hold my comments until after we've made the decision.
Contact causing disadvantage.
Okay, all in favour of contact causing disadvantage?
Yeah, aye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aye.
We go about 5 or 6. All in favour of blocking? All in favour of no penalty?
Me.
Who's Mad Clown?
Me.
Reno? Is it Reno?
No.
I'm here. Yeah, it's Brad Wright. Mad Clown's Brad Wright.
Okay, good. All right, cool. I think
If
that's
he's
all signs
angry
for
at me, it's Brad, yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that was the review. Long way around getting to something, but we got it done. Again, the level the guys are setting is what we let them vote on and how they go about handling their reviews. So, again, that's this evening done, dusted, and wrapped up, and we want to thank you for tuning in and watching tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the race as much as we did here in the Combox. We will see you again Wednesday night for our Tin Tops, coming with the TCR, the 86, and the Volkswagen Jetta. So we hope to see you tuning in on Wednesday night. From myself and the team here at CFR, it's been a pleasure to bring this to you, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Take care, be good to your fellow man, and we'll